Coming up next on News Live at 6, fires are spreading in California, the newest fire popping up in Ventura County. We'll tell you where the latest evacuations are and the containment next.
And over in East Syracuse at CNY Family Care Center, nurses are rallying in support of one of their own. Why coworkers are coming together this weekend.
And we got some flurries this morning, but snow isn't the element Syracuse should be worried about. Find out more in my first local weather update. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is CitrusTV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
We've been asking the questions for weeks now. When are we going to see that infamous Syracuse chill? Well, we finally are seeing it. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Maggiore.
And I'm Greg Bradbury. That's right, Sabrina. We had sightings of snow here on campus this morning. Our weather correspondent, Sunny Balkin, is in studio here with the latest.
That's right, guys. It is the moment we've all been dreading, but it's okay because just because the snow was here this morning doesn't mean that it's here to stay. Right now, there is no snow on the ground. It's 43 degrees, low humidity, and very, very high wind speeds. It's not snow we need to be worried about. It is the high wind warning that's going through the Syracuse area, and that's what's making this 43 feel more like we're in the low to mid 30s. Let me show you what we're working with tomorrow. Still pretty high wind speeds. However, it's going to be 40 to 38 to 46. Heating up a little bit, but we're still getting wind speeds within the 10-mile-per-hour wind tunnel. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful for that. Maybe wear a windbreaker, something to keep you bundled up during the game season. So it's mostly cloudy throughout the morning, clearing up into the afternoon, and we're seeing this all across the board in CNY. So stay tuned for more on that in my full weather forecast.
All right, thanks, Sunny. Right now at the On Center, the annual Syracuse University letter-winning competition is taking place. The ceremony honors people who have made a mark on their athletic programs after graduating from SU. Tonight's honorees include 4 athletes and an administrator, including Class of '98 volleyball standout Carrie Potts and Class of '85 lacrosse player Brad Katz. They also will be honored at tomorrow's football game. Also happening right now, the Jeffrey Welcher Vocal Studio Showcase at the Shaman Auditorium in the Schaefer Art Building. The a cappella performance started at 5:30 and will go until 7:30 tonight. Tickets are free and open to the public.
We have new details on last night's flood in Haven Hall. This picture taken after a drain clogged in a bathroom on the 5th floor, causing a flood. You can see the picture there. Water seeped and entered 3 rooms and then began dripping on the floor below. Now today the hallway is cleaned up and no one had to move rooms last night despite the flood. The university is saying that the flooding was caused by a hair blockage. Hendricks Chapel is hosting a Faith and Family Day tomorrow at the football game against Boston College. The goal is to bring together different faith communities from across New York. People who signed up will be able to participate in special events on the quad and take pictures on the field with other faith communities. The Hendricks Chapel Choir will also be performing the national anthem and have the opportunity to talk with Syracuse athletes. Events kick off at 9 tomorrow morning. Also on campus, Syracuse graduate George Dawson spoke today via Skype at Byrd Library. The event is part of a Friday fireside chats run by the Blackstone Launchpad. Now, Dawson is the fund controllers for Techstars, a startup accelerator company based in Boulder, Colorado. Dawson graduated from the Whitman School of Management in 2008 with dual degrees in accounting and finance. And the Office of Multicultural Affairs hosted their 16th annual WellSync transition ceremony earlier today. The WellSync Leadership Program is nationally recognized for first-year students. The event included keynote speaker Jose Antonio Vargas, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, Emmy-nominated filmmaker, and Tony-nominated producer. Vargas is a leading activist for human rights of immigrants and talked about his own experience coming to America as an undocumented immigrant.
And flu season is in full swing on campus. The Barnes Center at the Arch held a flu clinic earlier today for students, faculty, and staff. If you missed your chance today, don't worry. Flu shots will be available every Tuesday and Thursday for the next 3 weeks. All of those events will also be from 11 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. And in East Syracuse, at another health center, nurses at CNY Family Care are supporting one of their own. I visited the center to find out the reason they're organizing for the upcoming weekend.
To everything a season, and every time a purpose. And for the women at CNY Family Care, that purpose is nursing.
Patients love Michelle.
Yeah, and you know who you can kind of mess around with and who you can't.
But they play other roles in each other's lives too.
Looks like your style.
Karen Satterley and Lisa Hazard have known Michelle Krakowski for over a decade.
You know, we joked about it, not thinking this day would come, and here it is.
Now, Michelle needs to take on another role, one where she'll go from nurse to patient.
I've known for 21 years that eventually I may need a transplant. I was kind of hoping to slip out of this life without getting one, but unfortunately not.
Michelle's friends say they always knew the day could come when she would need a new kidney.
And I said, don't worry, if you ever need a kidney, I would give her one of mine.
In 2018, nearly 7,000 transplants were made possible by living kidney donors. Each donor had to complete a series of tests to make sure they were matches.
They have to pass stress tests, CAT scans. Upstate will make sure that they are fit to give a kidney.
Lisa wasn't a match. So instead, she and Karen, along with the other people at CNY Family Care, are organizing a benefit. The goal? To raise money for medical bills and help Michelle find a donor.
We just want to do everything we can to help her out.
Until the fundraiser on November 3rd, they're busy preparing, using their nurse training to stay focused.
You know, dealing with other people's heartaches and some of the worst days of their lives, and, you know, you can't sit around and cry all day. So
But the outpouring of support is enough to move even the most disciplined professional.
Yeah, the response of support has been amazing. Amazing.
Because when a nurse becomes a patient, a whole family of caregivers rallies to support her.
And if you're interested in learning more about living kidney donations or think you can be a match for Michelle, visit the website on your screen.
And also in the spirit of giving back, a garden opened this semester for Syracuse students who don't have access to fresh produce. CitrusTV reporter Amber McElrath is in studio to tell us about the new initiative.
The garden is located on South Campus next to the restaurant The Incomplete. Today it was dedicated to Pete Sala and officially named Pete's Giving Garden.
I went directly to the telephone and picked it up and called Pete and said, hey Pete, we want to do this. We want to start a garden. Do you have a space for us? And he said, I've been waiting for this.
So if it was not for Pete Sala saying, yeah, let's make this happen, that's a great thing that you guys are doing, we would not have the garden that we have today.
The goal is not necessarily agricultural training or classes like that, but it is instead to produce food to go to the pantries, to go to students who need it.
We have 2 food pantries here on campus, and it's filled with food, right? Like canned foods and box goods, but it's food that is easy because it's long lasting, has a long shelf life. But I kept going back to the fact of how can we provide fresh produce for our students without breaking the bank.
And I think that, especially at private universities like Syracuse University, we don't think about things like food insecurity among the student population because we think, oh, it's a big, nice, fancy school. And so what do you mean people are going without food?
So how can we, as a campus, learn how to manage our money better? And in most cases, folks aren't hungry because they're mismanaging their money. It's just not enough.
So then we trained up, now I guess we have a total of 32 student and staff volunteers across campus. So many colleges and majors are represented in that pool. We really hope just together and with all the volunteers to make a difference on campus.
Sala was unable to make the dedication, and if you want to get involved in helping provide fresh produce to the SU community, there are many volunteer and internship opportunities. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Amber. Right now, almost 9,000 people are currently without power in central New York. This after record-breaking rainfall last night. The Halloween storm brought high winds resulting in power being knocked out by branches, trees, and wires. Crews from the National Grid and New York Gas and Electric have been working to restore power to those affected by the storm.
The latest early voting numbers are out for the 2019 election. The Onondaga County Board of Elections says that almost 5,000 votes have been processed so far. Early voting continued today and wraps up on Sunday. Polls are open from 9 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon this weekend. There are almost 300,000 registered voters in Onondaga County. And Democrats in Onondaga County will enter the 2019 election with the widest margin in a decade. The Democrat voter enrollment total has now climbed 30,000 past Republican total enrollment. Since 2015, the number of registered Democrats has increased by over 12,000. There's a new wave of Democratic registration in Syracuse suburbs, which is a major factor in this change, and across all party lines. The overall voter enrollment total in the county has increased to the highest total enrollment in the decade.
President Trump is no longer a New Yorker. He filed the paperwork to change his principal home to his Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida this week. He said he was moving because he had been treated badly by political leaders despite his contributions to the state. Now, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo firing back on Twitter with this post saying, "Good riddance. It's not like Mr. Trump paid taxes here anyways. He's all yours, Florida." Now, Governor Cuomo and President Trump have clashed several times over many political positions, including the president's taxes and returns. Coming up next, a public health emergency in New Delhi. Find out what the World Health Organization has to say about the polluted air in the city.
Plus, fires continue to spread in California, the amount of people evacuated, and what firefighters are now doing to combat the flames. Next.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Got a quarter?
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
If you see news happening on campus, in Syracuse, or across the nation, call the CitrusTV Newsroom, 315-443-1177, or tweet at CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
We're coming back with breaking news. Democratic presidential hopeful Beto O'Rourke is dropping out of the 2020 race. The former Texas rep has struggled for months to gain momentum in a crowded field.
O'Rourke tweeted that the decision was aligned with all his campaign moves, saying, quote, "I am announcing that my service to the country will not be as a candidate." And the latest on the fires in Southern California, crews are still fighting to put out the flames that have burned over 100,000 acres in just 3 weeks.
500 firefighters are busy trying to contain the New Maria fire in Ventura County, just 2 hours away from Los Angeles. That fire started yesterday night and is burning away nearly 9,000 acres. Around 8,000 people are evacuating Ventura County tonight. And 4 people are dead and at least another 3 injured after a shooting at a Halloween party last night. The incident occurred at a rental home in Orinda, California, a city about 9 miles northeast of Oakland.
According to the police chief, approximately 100 people were at the, quote, Airbnb mansion party. Deputies were already on the way to check on a noise complaint when the shooting began. By the time authorities got to the location, 3 people had died from gunshot wounds. Police are still investigating the cause of the violence. And the latest in the college admissions scandal, Lori Loughlin is pleading not guilty to new charges.
The former Full House star and her husband are charged with conspiracy to commit federal program bribery. This comes after Felicity Huffman, another actress included in the scandal, was released from prison after serving 11 days of her 14-day sentence. And across the world, outrage in Barcelona after a court acquitted 5 men on rape charges because the unconscious victim did not fight back. The gang rape occurred in 2016. The victim was 14 at the time.
Now, the court argued that the case did not meet the country's legal definition of rape. In Spain, a sexual assault is only considered rape when a victim fights back. Instead, the court charged the men with lesser sexual abuse charges and sentenced them to 10 to 12 years in prison. In India, officials in New Delhi have declared a public health emergency due to toxic air quality. The World Health Organization says that New Delhi air is reaching dangerous levels. The number of people visiting emergency rooms related to air pollution illness is only increasing.
And that's right, guys. When we come back, I'm going to be telling you all about the wind that is passing over Syracuse right now, and it's creating quite the chill. Stay with us.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
From the CitrusTV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
I'm sure you guys have probably noticed that it's pretty cold out there, guys, and that is because we are having a very high wind warning for the Syracuse area. Let me play you some of these wind streams. You can see it right now. Those dark blues are passing over Syracuse, going by Massachusetts into the Atlantic Ocean. That means that we're getting extremely cold weather, and where is it coming from? Our good old friends in the north. We're getting those cold winds down from Canada. They're blowing down right now, coming over Syracuse, going out into the Atlantic. But the good thing about that is that it's also pushing away a lot of the moisture in the air. So there's very low humidity right now, and we're not seeing a lot of precipitation. So though you may be cold, at least it's not raining. Only positives for the weather today. So despite the fact that it's cold and it's not raining, that doesn't mean that we have a great outdoor activity outlook. Sadly, we are at a moderate. We've been at a moderate for at least the last 3 weeks. Hopefully next week will be a little bit better, but I'm not really seeing that in the forecast. It's mostly cloudy skies with a little bit of rain, temperatures ranging from the low 40s to the low 50s, and on top of that, relatively high wind speeds throughout the week. So we're going to be seeing those cold winds pretty much from now until the end of next week. Let me show you that in my full weather forecast. Now, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's all pretty cold out there. We are seeing some 50s, but remember that is the high for the day. So be sure to bring your coat and maybe some mittens because it's going to be a little chilly, folks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sunny. And the latest job numbers are out and higher than expected. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says that the U.S. economy added 128,000 jobs in October. Some of the most jobs came in the food and drink services industries, which added 1,000 jobs. The president is calling the numbers a blowout in this tweet, saying the number is, quote, far greater than expected. The unemployment rate, however, remained relatively the same, climbing to 3.6% from the previous 3.5%.
Coming up in sports, Syracuse football faces another strong offense in Boston College, plus a number of SU sports in action tonight, and the Mets hired a new manager. Stay tuned.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
What are you, superheroes?
Just four brothers who hate bullies and love this city.
Gear up, guys.
And now, your CitrusTV Sports Report.
Syracuse football continues to search for its first ACC win. The Orange have another chance as they host Boston College tomorrow. The Eagles are an offensive powerhouse thanks to an offensive line which allows an average of 0.6 sacks per game, good for third in the country. Very different from Syracuse's offensive line, which allows over 5 a game. And just when you thought the Cuse defense would get a break, guess again. Instead of Florida State's Cam Akers, SU will face Boston College running back A.J. Dillon. The junior ranks 4th nationally in rushing yards per game with 130. Plus, he became BC's all-time leading rusher last week against Clemson. Dillon has over 3,700 total yards. Yet quarterback Tommy DeVito says it doesn't matter how good players are, this team needs to focus on themselves.
I mean, it's like any other game. Like Florida State had Cam Akers and everyone else and all the weeks before that, so we're not worried about what they have. Our defense is going to hold that down. We just have to put up more points on the board on offense. Very physical team. We're going to have to be very physical on the offense, defensive line, all skill positions, because they're going to hit us and we got to hit them back, and at the end of the day, the most physical team's going to win.
Head coach Dino Babers added his team needs to simplify things and get back to basics, especially against a rival as tough as Boston College. Kickoff is tomorrow at noon. Be sure to follow CitrusTV Sports on Twitter for updates from the Dome. And men's soccer also faces off against the Eagles. The Orange close out its regular season in Boston tonight. Syracuse has dominated in its last couple of games, 2 shutouts against SUNY Morrisville and NC State. Boston College is the exact opposite, though. The Eagles lost 2 straight away games to Louisville and Clemson. Both of those are ACC teams. The matchup between the two starts in about half an hour. And women's soccer was set to face #1 Virginia last night, but Mother Nature had different plans. The game was canceled due to rain and isn't going to be rescheduled. That means the end of the season for the Orange. Syracuse finished 3-11-2 in Nikki Adams' first year as head coach, improvement from last season's 3-15 record. And the road to another CHA title begins tonight. Women's hockey hosts RIT. The Orange won their first conference crown last year after a 6-2 victory against Robert Morris. The Orange started the season 0-9 this year, but are coming off its first win, a 5-0 shutout against Union. Puck drop tonight is at 7 o'clock. And after 19 days on the road, Syracuse volleyball returns home to face Notre Dame tonight at 7. The Orange are riding momentum from its win over NC State. That was the team's first victory down in Raleigh. Sophomore Polina Shimanova was named ACC Player of the Week for her performance. She had 22 kills against the Wolfpack. And Syracuse field hockey hits the road for one more regular season game. The Orange play number 5 Louisville tomorrow at 1. The Cuse is riding a 3-game win streak. 2 of those were against ranked teams, UConn and Wake Forest. SU is 2-3 in the conference and looks to get to 500 as the ACC tournament approaches. And moving to the pros, the Islanders host the Lightning tonight. New York is looking for its 8th straight win. Elsewhere, the Sabres travel to take on the Capitals. Buffalo fell to the Coyotes in overtime earlier this week, but good news, the team has followed up every loss with a win. Puck drop for both games is at 7 o'clock. And the Mets reportedly plan to hire Carlos Beltran as their new manager. Beltran played 7 seasons with New York as a center fielder. This would be his first managerial job, but he spent the last 2 seasons working with the Yankees as an advisor. Beltran would replace Mickey Callaway after he was fired in October.
All right, Jenna, well, thank you so much. We'll be right back with one last look at your weather.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
They'll test you. Try to break your will. But however loud the loudness gets, however many cheese puffs may fly, you're the driver, the one in control. Stand firm. Just wait. And move only when you hear the click that says they're buckled in for the drive. Never give up till they buckle up.
All right, welcome back. We have our lovely Sunny Balkin in studio. Sunny, what do we have in store for us weather-wise?
You know what? A lot of people have been saying that they're fearful of the snow. We're probably going to see a little bit of that next week. But if you take a look at my full weather forecast, I can show you guys that it's really not that bad. Like, across the board, we're not going to be seeing a lot of snow at all until much later on into the week. So I wouldn't worry about it, guys. We have plenty of time.
Great to hear.
All right, well, definitely when we'll be hearing some snow, or we'll seeing some snow, we were hearing something else earlier today. The Chime Masters in Crouse College played a Christmas medley. Now, our viewers may not know this, but here at Citrus TV, we like to create some daily polls in our newsroom. And because of that medley, and in honor of it being November 1st, we had a very important poll up on the whiteboard today. Is it too early to listen to Christmas music? Here's what the board looked like right before this show started at 6.
Now, we wanted to hear everyone's opinion, though, so we sent out this tweet to see how you guys are feeling. Here are the numbers right now. We have 28 votes in, and it looks like 86% say yes, it is too early to listen to holiday music. Meanwhile, the remaining 14% think the time is right.
Well, definitely something we'll be keeping an eye on and really listening to if we do hear that music indeed. But that's all the time we have for you. For all of us, I'm Greg Bradbury.
And I'm Sabrina Maggiore. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Have a great weekend, Syracuse.